Coming home in the evening, each day much on my mind. Fast.
Hi there, peace unto you. My name is Rashida Ali and welcome to Rashida TV, a place to be to gain practical tools on how to create tranquility in your heart. Now welcome to another Q&A segment of Rashida TV, and today's question comes from Abodari, and Abodari writes, Hi Rashida, how can I be better in resolving a conflict with my husband? Because whenever we have a conflict, I always find out that it doesn't go well and it just gets worse. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your videos and I do really enjoy it. Love, Abodari. Thank you so much, Abodari, for your question. And in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is I'll be sharing 10 tips that we can use in order to make resolve a conflict. Number one will be listening. Now, this is really important. Like when you're trying to resolve a conflict and the other party is talking, you have to try and listen to them. Just try and listen to what they're saying. I know sometimes it's quite hard because then you feel like, oh, when I really want to say something, or I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. One tip that I always use is that I always, have a pen and a paper down before I sit down to resolve a conflict. So I try to, I say it beforehand that, I'm just trying to write things down, because if I remember what I want to say or I have an evidence, like I just want to write it down. So number two is don't start with an attack. Don't start with a blame. So if you want to sit someone down to talk to them or resolve a conflict, don't start by saying, oh yeah, you did this, you did that. No. Start with maybe things like, I know you're really trying to make things better, or I know, we're really working hard towards making this relationship a better one. Just try and say encouraging words. Then you can then go ahead and say, okay, but I think we're lacking in this part, or I think we can do better here. So that way, when you start with those encouraging words or things that make them feel like you're not here for fights, you're here to resolve a conflict. So number three will be when you're trying to tell them what their own part of the problem is, don't try to make it seem like you're doing the blame game. So don't just try to pinpoint and say, well, you did this, you did that. You want to try and make it seem like, okay, this is what's happening in this relationship. Now, I am lacking in this point, but I feel that if you did this better, then we can, make things work. So just try and don't make everything seem like, oh, well, I'm the good one, you're the bad one, because then the other party would not even want to listen. So number four will be, don't always try to be right. So if they come up with something you've done wrong, like your own part of the problem, don't try to be defensive. Don't try to always find an excuse to make sure that you are always, like you want to win all the time. It's okay if you've done something wrong, or if you feel that you could have done better in that situation. Just admit and accept it. It doesn't show a sign of weakness that you have done something wrong. So number five will be, don't try going off topic. Like, so when someone is talking to you and telling you this is the problem, don't try to say something else or bring something else out. So try and sort out one problem at a time. If this is the problem, don't bring out past things. Don't bring out their weaknesses. Don't bring out the things that they've done a long time ago. People can tend to do that when they're not comfortable with what the other party is saying. So they try to bring something else just to avoid talking about that situation. And once the other party knows that, then they wouldn't want to resolve that conflict. So the next one will be, try not to assume things in your head. So if you don't understand what the other party is talking about, ask questions. Don't just imagine, don't assume. Don't feel like, well, that's fine, you've said it. If you don't feel like they're saying the right thing, talk about it. Say, well, I don't know. If you don't agree with it, tell them you don't agree with it. Don't keep it in your mind, or don't, if you keep it in your mind, then, it would come back again. It would definitely pop up again, and that has not been resolved. So the next one will be, do not try to provoke them. Don't try to make them get more angry or try to make the situation worse. So we know things that we can do. We know the buttons that we can press if we want to annoy people. The things you can say to make sure the other party gets mad. So don't try to do that. People do that in order to try and make the other party get the blame. So the next one will be avoiding annoying body languages. So things like eye rolling or like fidgeting, or things like maybe not looking at them, or things like head shaking or finger pointing. You know, there's some things that we can do with our, you know, like some really annoying body languages that we can do that can really frustrate the other party. So you want to try not to do this kind of things, because they would just make things worse. The next one will be trying to be versatile in your thinking. Now, so if the other party is trying to tell you things about maybe ideas on how you guys can work together and make things better, don't try to feel like, oh, I don't really I don't get it, or this is not my way, this is not what I can do, I can't work, things like that. You want to empathize with them. You want to be able to think beyond, put yourself in their own perspective. Try and see how you can look into their own world and see how you can work together and make things happen. Yeah, I know it can be a little bit difficult, because you might think, well, I don't do my things like this and this is how I do it. But if we just try to be a little bit more flexible and try and empathize and just try and see, okay, how can I make things better? How can I do things that way? And maybe I might get another result. The next one will be when you feel that you can't go ahead with a conversation. Maybe you feel like you're emotionally down, or your emotions are not really in the right place. Just stop. Like, just tell the other party, like, you know what? I don't feel really good. Like, I can't go on with this. It's okay to say in a nice way that can we continue this conversation another time? Now, Abodari, this is my A to your Q, and I hope this has helped. Now it's your turn. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know two things. What is your takeaway today? What have you learned from this video? And also, I would love to know what are the tips you use whenever you want to resolve a conflict. Please leave a comment below. Did you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please share with your friends and families. Remember, having tranquility in your heart is the key ingredient to having a successful and a happy life. Thank you so much for watching, and God willing, I'll catch you on the next episode of Rashida TV.
Coming home in the evening, each day much on my mind.